I'm continuing with my new series on expert tips for success from entrepreneurs who work from home. And in today's video, you'll learn from Michelle Marchant Johnson, who is a relationship coach. Michelle shares some pivotal advice about the importance of how to work in your business and how to work on your business. You're just going to love her words of wisdom in applying these tips to work in your own business from home. I'm Gail Bates, and I've been an entrepreneur working from home for over 20 years. And I'm passionate about helping entrepreneurs improve their time management and reduce overwhelm in today's fast-paced business world. That's why I'm doing this series. And I specialize in goal setting and productivity systems and strategies so entrepreneurs like you who work from home feel less stressed in making money and running a successful business. So right now, I'd love you to take a minute to subscribe to the channel. And of course, don't forget to hit that bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos. Now, let's dive in to learning successful ways to manage your business from home with Michelle. I'm excited to introduce to you today a really special friend of mine, Michelle Marchant Johnson. She is another rock star entrepreneur who works from home, and she's a relationship coach, and her business is Love Life Coaching. You're really going to want to learn a lot from Michelle today. And so we're actually going to discuss how Michelle stays focused and balanced in running a very successful relationship coaching business. Welcome, Michelle.
So thank you so much, Gail. So happy to be here with you. This is lovely. I'm excited for our conversation.
Yes. And as you know, we've been masterminding together for many years, and we haven't really gotten into some of the working from home situations that we have in both of our businesses. So I want to ask you a few questions today. So I'd love you to take me through a daily routine for you. What does that look like? Just walk me through a typical day in the Love Life coaching business.
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked this question. I think it's a really important thing to talk about and think about, and this may look a little different for everyone, but I feel like my day starts the night before, and I'll tell you why. I feel like the night before, take a look at my schedule. I take a look at my appointments, and I also look at what I want to prioritize in the day ahead, because that allows me to kind of go to sleep and I'm not necessarily like thinking, oh, about this or that I might have forgotten. I feel like I've kind of like already pre-planned and pre-organized my day in my mind before I go to bed the night before. So that's the first thing, is it starts for me the night before in terms of like in setting intentions and goals and kind of prioritizing the way the day's going to go. Now, of course, you know, life keeps on lifing and sometimes there are surprises, but that helps a lot for me to wake up the next morning feeling like I have a handle on what I want to do, what I want to accomplish, and where I want to go and what my priorities are. So then when I wake up in the morning, you know, for me, I have spiritual practices. So one of the things that I like to do is take a moment and take like 3 deep breaths and just think of things that I'm grateful for, even if it's just 3 small things. Because again, I feel like that sets the tone for my day. I also am someone that enjoys prayer. And so I will say a prayer and, you know, ask for divine guidance in what I'm doing and that my efforts will be blessed. I feel like that's important for me and it helps me set the tone. And this is a relatively new practice for me, Gail. I now do my exercising right after that, because what I have found is that if I put off exercising until later in the day, then I get distracted or I get tired or I think I'll do it tomorrow and it doesn't happen. And so it's, yeah.
Oh, so you're a girl after my own heart. I do the exact same thing. You get a lot of that in that book, The Miracle Morning. If you've ever read that book, it's a great book. But I so agree with you. And then, so now you've exercised, what's happening now?
Yeah, so not every day is the same for me, but one of the things that I'm finding is that I like to think of my week And so this kind of is thinking of the week and stretched out a little longer than a day, but I like to think of my week as sections of time. So to give you an example, on Mondays, I have 2 virtual assistants, people that assist and support me with my business. And one of the things that I found that has really been valuable is to have a brief meeting with them each Monday morning. So after the exercise on Mondays, I have meetings with my 2 virtual assistants. One is in Canada, one's in the United States. And we just kind of touch base on things that they're working on, and I give them new tasks or new things that I want them to accomplish for me in the week ahead. And that kind of feels like I've not only gotten myself going at the beginning of the week, but I've got them working on things for me as well. So some of those priorities. So I kind of try to batch like activities in the same day. Then I have a couple of days that are really coaching days, and that's when I schedule my private clients. So I may have, 4 or 5 coaching appointments in a given day, but I try not to have one on Tuesday afternoon, one on Wednesday morning, one on Thursday evening. Like if I'm batching, then I know this is a coaching day. That's going to be my main focus for the day. Yeah. And then, for example, I'm running a YouTube channel like you are, Gail, here. And I will think, okay, I'm gonna be all dressed up with the makeup on and the flowers and everything ready to go. So I'm going to record multiple videos in the same day. So this is batching. And so, for example, we're recording this video now, and I'm all dressed up for you. And so after we're done, Gail, I'll record a couple of other things. I might change my blouse. I might fix my hair a little differently or whatever, so it doesn't look like I'm necessarily doing it at exact same time. But I find that by batching things together in like activities, then I'm not pulling myself from one direction to another and going all over the place. Right. So I think there are days also when I say, this is going to be my creative day. That's another day I really like to put into each week is a creative day. And it's not always on the same day, but a creative day where I'm thinking about my business. So, there's this idea that we can get so busy working in our business that we don't have time to work on our business, right? This is the whole point of the E-Myth and the E-Myth Revisited. We have this idea that we're going to be able to have this very lucrative business and we're going to be able to have all this free time. And then maybe we fill up our time, but we're not necessarily focusing on, what is the next step or what's going to move the needle. Right. This is a question that Brendon Burchard shares that I think is so important, is that we take the time to just kind of have a creative day where we think about how can I improve or refine this, or what can I do here to up-level this, or what can I do that is going to be cash producing? Yeah, because because as we know, Gil, one of the well-known facts is that most entrepreneurial businesses don't make it. Right. Yep. And I think there's 2 key reasons they don't make it. One is they run out of time, meaning, they spend all their time with the busy work, but not generating, not revenue generating. And the other one is they run out of money. Yeah. And because they run out of money, then they end up quitting. Now, the sad part about this is, and I've heard many successful entrepreneurs talk about this, is that a lot of entrepreneurs quit at the time when, if they could sustain that a little longer financially or time-wise, they could potentially make it. And so if we can start being creative, thinking about those questions like, what moves the needle, or how can I refine certain processes, or how can I up-level this or that, I think it makes a huge difference. So for me, I've found I have to build that into my schedule. So scheduling, calendaring, planning ahead, and batching are really key things for me.
I love it. It's what we call revenue generating activities. And, one of the top revenue generating activities is connecting, right? Connecting with others. If we stay in that busyness, as you talk about, and we're just working on our business and being busy, and we're not actually working on those revenue generating activities, then you're right, the business will not sustain itself as well, right? Yes, yes.
Right. And we can be working. The other thing that happens is we could be working so hard because we're so busy that we burn ourselves out, and we lose the passion or the love that we have for the business and the reason we started it in the beginning.
Yeah. And I love that. I love the batching. I'm a batcher myself, if there's such a word. But the other thing I love what you do is your Monday morning team building, working with your team just one day a week and everybody's on the same page. I think that's wonderful. Yeah. So you are really working on your specific days where you work on your business in specific ways and really got that worked out for yourself. I love it. That's great advice for a lot of people who are watching this today, Michelle.
Yeah. And you know what, Gail, I'll just say this. I didn't know about this, or I didn't do this necessarily in the early stages of my business. And I did find that I was getting burned out because I would have coaching sessions this evening and this morning and this afternoon and then the next evening, and I was feeling, on Saturday mornings, it was like, and I was feeling like I was working all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was because I hadn't clearly defined in my mind that I needed to plan my schedule according to what was really going to support me in growing and sustaining this business. And so I had to start, I learned this the hard way. And then I had to start strategically thinking about how can I begin to structure my business so that it begins to support me in being able to grow and sustain my business in a way that feels good to me and where I can show up my best for whatever activity I'm doing.
Yeah.
And where I can still dedicate a certain amount of time to the creative pursuits and how I can up level and think about my business in creative ways, how I can bring in revenue, how I can improve, how I can make the business more lucrative, what things I can outsource or have other people do for me. Mm-hmm. This is a really big question that I ask myself frequently because a lot of us tend to be a little bit control freaks or think no one else can do it. And there's a lot of things that other people can do for us to free up our time to work in the zone of what's actually going to produce revenue and grow the business.
I agree with you. I think outsourcing is one of the most important parts of being an entrepreneur, working from home, doing it all alone. What would your biggest tip be on outsourcing? What in your business, what do you think is the biggest challenge for you in using outsourcing?
I think the biggest challenge is finding the right people.
Right.
And finding someone who's not only competent and capable in their area of expertise, but also with whom you can have good communication and you can have a good working style, especially for someone that's going to support you for on an ongoing basis. Like I have 2 team members. One of them's been with me for 11 years and one's been with me for like 10 years. So these are people that they almost know my business and anticipate what I need almost before I ask, right? They almost know my business better than I do.
Yeah.
And they also know me. And this is an important thing for me because, they'll know things I might forget or things I might need a reminder of or things that, they might need to ask for from tasks that they've done before.
Right.
So it's like almost they help keep me on my toes. And with those Monday morning meetings, then we're like setting this intention together. So it kind of feels like we're kind of a well-oiled machine. And even if I wake up on a Monday morning and I'm a little scattered, getting into that zone, we have agendas for those meetings. And so we can follow up what we talked about the week before. We can see if there's something that still needs to be completed or refined or tweaked. And we can talk about the tasks ahead. And I make those agendas, but that helps us all stay really on track in terms of like accountability and where we're at. I had to quite honestly experiment with quite a few different things to find the right people, not only to support me on an ongoing basis like these two assistants do, but also on task. So, for example, Gail, you and I use the same video editor, but in order for me to find him, I had to go through multiple people on Upwork. That's where we found him, on Upwork. I had to go through multiple people to find someone that I really liked and kind of got what I wanted to have done. And I liked his work. It felt like, we were kind of in a good flow. Sometimes on Fiverr, I've found people to do more simple tasks or one-time jobs. But again, you can look at the ratings, and I always recommend try someone out. If you're going to do something like that, try them out for a small project. Like if you want to try out a video editor, try them out for one video.
Right.
If you want someone that's going to make images for like your social media, have them do a small task, and then kind of experiment with that. I spent a lot of money experimenting with people until I found the right people, but it was well worth it. And here's just one other thing I'll say. This is another reason why it's so important that we do focus on the revenue generating activities, because one of the things that people are likely thinking, I know I thought this in the early stages of my business, was how am I going to afford this? Right? How am I going to pay for these people to help me? And it's almost like you have to find that balance, but you almost have to take a bit of a leap of faith and get certain people to help you with certain things if you want to grow your business, because we don't have the time or the bandwidth, and it's not the best use of our time in most cases to learn how to do every single task. Like for you and I, Gail, it likely wouldn't be the best use of our time to try to learn video editing, right?
Exactly. Something I don't even want to learn. Okay. It's too technical for me. And I think we have to realize our capabilities in that. I love it, Michelle. So let's switch to what I call distractions. Being an entrepreneur, working from home, what are the common distractions that you encounter, and how do you minimize or eliminate them during your work hours?
Yeah, it's a long list, those distractions, right? Because I have a very curious mind. So I love watching YouTube videos. I love email. And if email comes in, I want to check it. If the phone dings, I want to go see who it is. I want to see who's texting me. I think, okay, I could just throw in a couple loads of laundry here and there, do this kind of thing. And when you work from home, there's a lot of different things that could distract. My husband also works from home. So, I want to go out to lunch with him, or I want to spend time with him. Or maybe I think, I kind of just need a little break. I'll go flip on the TV, and then it's an hour later, right? I've watched something, I love watching cooking shows. In my mind, I imagine I'm going to be, some kind of domestic goddess. It hasn't kicked in yet, so we're not holding our breath, but there's a lot of distractions, right? And so this is again where the focused, scheduled batching of activities and time, right? I really try to manage my time, as even if it's time for creativity or thinking about the business or making videos or whatever, even if it's not like an appointment with someone else, I try to treat those appointments that I've made for myself, those blocks of time, as though they are appointments, so that I don't get distracted going off doing all of those things. And what I've had to do with email, because for me, it's so tempting to go back and forth with email, is I've had to do those in between my batched activities. Then I'll check the email and respond to any urgent emails or any emails that I feel are important for me to respond to in a timely basis, like to my clients. Yeah. Because with my private coaching clients, one of the things I do tell them is that they're going to have priority email access to me. And so that's just a few people at any given time, but those people are going to get a same day response from me.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So it's really wonderful that you recognize that. I think that's really important to recognize what's important. And the distractions are always going to be there, right? They're always going to be there, especially as entrepreneurs working from home.
Right, Gail. Can I just say one more thing about that? I think another thing to think about when it comes to this is what your priorities are versus other people's priorities, right? Because other people's priorities, like when I get the emails, for example, other people's priorities are for me to watch their thing, their video or their thing, or read their email. But is that my priority, right? Or maybe someone wants you to do something for them. You know, I get invited to do a lot of speaking on various people's speaker series. Well, you know, there are certain people I'm very happy to do that for, but I also have to assess, you know, does this fit in alignment with my own priorities and where I'm wanting to go in my own business, or is this just someone else's priorities? Because that can kind of help us, again, kind of sort and stay clear about the priorities, because those can be distractions too, even though they're work related.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's so true. It's so true. And recognizing that, I think, is really important. I'm going to switch it up here because I know you are so great at this, having worked together with you for many years. I want to talk a little bit about professional development. How do you continue to invest in your own professional development? And how do you fit it into your busy life?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think it is really, really so important. It's always been important to me. It's always been important to me, my own development, because I believe the more I grow, the more I learn, the more I develop myself, not just only as a business person, but as a human being, the more value I can be in the world and to my clients and in the things that I'm seeking to do. And so I've always been a voracious reader. You know, when I decided to be a relationship coach for women, helping single women meet and attract the right man, back then I was a single woman myself and struggling to meet and attract the right man. But like one of the things that I did back then was I read, within an 18-month period of time, I read over 125 books, literally, on love, dating, relationships, men, communication, everything I could find. Because I knew that there were things that I maybe needed to understand or know or see that could make a difference. Well, so when I started my business, I kind of approached it the same way. I thought, you know, now I've been trained as a coach. Now I've attracted the right man. Now I have this vision for what I want to create. But I never started a business before. I'd worked for other people. I spent 20 plus years in the corporate world. And that was other people's work that I was doing for them. I never had created something. So I have, Gail, over the years and continue to do, I invest a lot in myself and in programs and in training and in learning as much as I can. But I will say this, and I think it's essential. But I will say this, I do think we have to get clear, and this is a mistake I made, and this is why I'm sharing this. I do think we have to be clear about where we're at in our business and what is the appropriate training. Like when we think about what's going to move the needle, that's a Brenna Burchard question, right? Or what comes next, that we focus in on getting clarity about that. Because one of the things that I did that was a mistake is I took trainings that were way further down the road than where I was in my business, right? Yeah. And so it's like, for example, I remember going to a training in Las Vegas a number of years ago. This is in the early stages of my business. And I can remember, you know, this woman was training on, you know, membership programs and all kinds of things like that. And then she said something that like made me go, wow, I've like jumped ahead too many steps. It's kind of like in a relationship. Someone could go on a first date and they think, oh, this is the one. They don't even know this person yet. Well, I'm at this paid training in Las Vegas, you know, spend the expense to go down there, stay in a hotel. And then she said something. She said, if you don't have an email list, you don't have a business yet.
Yes. And
I'm like,
you have your business.
I don't have an email list.
Yeah.
What are we doing here in this 3-day training on membership sites I don't even have anybody to offer this membership site to.
Right.
So then I came home and I'd spent all this money to go to this training and stay in the hotel and travel there and everything. Then I came home and I'm like, she said I don't have a business because I don't have an email list. So that became my priority at that time. So you can see like where I jumped ahead. I jumped ahead thinking, oh, I need to go on this training for membership site because that'd be a really cool thing to do.
Yeah.
But I had jumped way ahead.
Yeah.
So I think it's important, along with our prioritizing, to prioritize our training and our learning, and to search out the people that we can learn from in their area of expertise, and also make it relevant for where we're at in our stage of our business. Now I have a wonderful membership site. That's years after I went to that initial training in Las Vegas. Now I have my wonderful Mr. Right Academy membership program, but I had no business being there from a financial or time or business building standpoint at that stage, because it was way ahead of where I was at.
It's that, I love that saying, what's important now? It's something I ask myself every week when I sit down on a Monday. What's important now? And I think knowing what is important now in your business is going to help you grow your business. I love that, Michelle, and you get great advice on that. So let's move into share your offerings. What do you offer in your business?
Yeah, I'll just say one last thing about that last piece, and that is one of the additional distractions and one of the additional things that I did, and I see a lot of other people doing, is like what we call the shiny object syndrome. Someone's doing a training on podcasting. Someone's doing a training on video training. Someone's doing a course on membership sites. Someone's doing a course on hosting live events. And I did all of them and spent a lot of money. And a lot of them were not yet relevant for my business based on the stage I was at. So we have to watch out for that shiny object syndrome.
Such important advice. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. So what was your next question? Oh, my offerings. So my business is called Love Life Coaching. And it's a very intentional name because it's obviously to help single women, mainly single women over 40, who maybe have had success in other areas of their life, but struggled in their love life like I did. And the intention of the name is, yes, it's about your love life, so supporting your love life, but it's also about loving your life, because I really believe it's not just all about the destination, so to speak, of meeting and attracting the right man. It's about living your life richly and fully and loving your life while you're doing it, because, this is real life. It's not a dress rehearsal.
Right.
And also when we're in a place where we're living our lives richly and fully and with joy and with passion, we're much more likely to attract, from an energetic standpoint, someone who would be a good partner as well. So that's the name of my business. And I still do one-on-one coaching, which is a very deep level of support. I have a program called the Meet Him and Keep Him one-on-one coaching program. And that is that's my deepest level of support. I kind of become like your virtual wing woman. And that's, again, a very intentional name, because the kind of women that I work with want not just to meet someone, but they want someone they'd like to keep around, right? They want the real relationship. So my private coaching stays pretty full, and I do that on a limited basis so I can batch my days and my activities, and so I don't feel like I'm working day and night and day. Mm-hmm. And because I give a very deep level of support, I can only do that for so many women at a time. Then I do have my Mr. Right Academy membership program, which is a group coaching program. We have a beautiful, amazing group of women there where you can get individualized support and questions answered in a group setting, and get support in your love life and learn from the experiences of the other members. Women say it's so great because they don't feel alone out there in the dating world. Mm-hmm. And it's really a step-by-step program designed to help take you from being single and alone to being with the man of your dreams. So we have all kinds of tools and resources and a beautiful website for the program. And that's a lot of fun. And that's called Mr. Right Academy. And then I also do offer kind of like from time to time, like individual courses like on how to create your profile. It's called Be Irresistible Online. Or courses like what men want and need to help women be educated about men and how to bring out the best in them and how to communicate and connect with them. And then how to meet a great guy with both how you can meet men online and offline. So I do some individual courses kind of as one-offs. And those are also in the Mr. Right Academy program. I also have a really great free gift because one of the things I've done in my work, even though I work to support women in their love lives, is I've interviewed hundreds of men over the years. And so I have a free gift, which is called 10 Secrets Every Woman Needs to Know About Men, with some of the key findings about that. It's an audio and ebook, and that's super fun too.
Yes, and actually we will be putting the link to that below in this video as well. And
and one more thing, Gail, I also have a really great YouTube channel.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you to share next.
Okay. Yeah, so my YouTube channel is just my name, Michelle Marchant Johnson, just my name. And there are, I think at the latest count, like 750 videos out there. My channel is at like 12.5 million views and a little over 75,000 subscribers.
Wow.
So pretty excited about that. I've worked really hard over the years to learn a little bit about YouTube and how to grow, and have been blessed to interview some incredible guests, which have also helped my YouTube channel have a nice boost. And so that's also a great place to join me.
Yes, and we will link that below as well. Last question, Michelle. Healthy work-life balance. Any top tip you could give? One top tip today that you can give on what you believe as an entrepreneur working from home would be, how do you maintain a healthy work-life balance?
Yeah, such a great question, and sometimes very hard to achieve. Because, you know, we don't really necessarily make money unless we're working. And I don't know about you, but I can be incredibly focused on my business. I can just tell you what works for me. I have to schedule in time for fun. I literally have to put that in my calendar.
Yeah.
And I also have to be intentional about creating vacation time off.
Yeah.
Because no matter what kind of business you have, none of us stay at our best and enjoy our business the most if we don't have any downtime. And so taking these daily walks or time to exercise is one little mini break. And I do think it's good to schedule in some mini breaks during the day. I mean, I can remember times when I realized I've like been in the house for 3 days. I haven't stepped outside.
Yeah.
Right? Like, even if it's a mini break to go outside and take some deep breaths, or go out in the evening and look at the sky or whatever. But I also think, you know, when we're working for ourselves, we don't have built-in vacation time.
Right.
You know, we don't have like, we're going to get this many weeks off. And I think you have to schedule, at least I do. I have to schedule that in.
Yeah.
That's another thing that I have to be intentional about.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'll ask my clients, especially if I can sense they're kind of burned out on dating or just kind of burned out on life, I'll say, when's the last time you did anything for no other reason than just the sheer fun of it?
Yes.
Or just the sheer joy of it.
Right? Yes. And it's such a great question to end this interview with you today. Thank you so much. You have given us such great advice today, and I hope everyone who's watching this video, I got to watch it again and again, because I think we will be going back to all the great advice you've been giving us. Thank you so much, Michelle. It's been a delight to interview you today as an entrepreneur working from home.
My pleasure, Gail. Lovely to be with you, and thanks everyone for watching.
What a lot of great advice from Michelle Marchant Johnson today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I loved all her tips. In fact, I was writing a lot of them down. Don't forget to subscribe and come back for more info in this series on expert tips for success from entrepreneurs who work from home. Now, I'd love you to leave me a comment below on what tip really resonated with you the most today. And I'll see you on the next video.